Claude Chat versus Claude Cowork versus Claude Code. Which one is best for you, the business owner, to use? That's what I'm going to explain in this video right now. Now, obviously, because I talk a lot about LinkedIn and content creation, that's the lens I'm going to take for this. But I'll also do a bit of more macro view of what I've noticed from running this in my business for the last few months. I'll also touch on the working styles, because working styles will dictate which of these you default to. But let's get stuck in. First up, Claude Chat. So Chat is, simply put, the lowest friction, lowest effort version of Claude. The advantage that Chat has, and this is really important for your working style, is that it will sync to your mobile app. So if you're someone who's out and about all the time and you're thinking about different ideas and you're just wanting to be able to chat with Claude, then you want to default most of your ideas and brainstorming inside Chat, and specifically a Chat project. Because projects, if you're not aware of them or you don't use them, most people will sit and just start a new chat when they have a new conversation to talk about. But when you use projects, what you can do is you can set up projects and give it specific roles for a specific thing. So I have a project for LinkedIn, I have it for YouTube, I have it for my pipeline, I even have it for my peak performance fitness wise. So I have like a personal coach. So it's really best practice to set up projects inside. It doesn't matter if you're using Chat, Cowork, or Code. Set up projects, because that is the place that you want to be having conversations, so that it keeps all of the context together and it gives you the answers you need in the right format. To create a project, it's very easy. You just go in, you press project, and then new project. And then, you can name it whatever you want, and then press create. But what you want to do once you're in here is, once you're into a project that's built, press pin project, and that will enable the project to appear here. So if I were to pin this, you notice how to use Claude pops up here. So I'm going to unpin that because I don't really use that. That's just one of the projects that come up as default. But that's basically top level what most business owners are going to get use of when it comes to creating content on LinkedIn. You want to have most of your ideas happening inside of Claude Chat, because you're going to be able to use it on both the desktop app that I have here, but also your mobile app. The two sync together. Now let's move on to Claude Cowork. Now I love Claude Cowork. It is a fantastic tool. And the main difference between Chat and Cowork is Cowork only runs on your desktop. So that's really important. Now, another thing to take away as well is projects won't sync across the 3 different platforms. So for example, I have a YouTube project in Cowork. I also have one in Chat. When I use the YouTube project or even the LinkedIn project inside of Cowork, it's because I want to execute something. So when you want AI to go beyond just you having a conversation with it, it giving you an output, and then you copy and pasting things, when you actually want it to do things, Cowork is what you want to have that conversation in. Because Cowork allows you to not only execute it as you prompt it with using the connector. So you'll notice here as well, if I press plus here, you'll see skills and connectors. So a lot of my apps, you're able to go in and add connectors. So you literally just press the plus, go to connectors, add connector. And any of these main apps that you use, I use a lot of apps. I'm a big fan of technology. But you can give Claude access via MCP. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And that basically allows Claude to speak to any of the apps you use to execute on a given day. So for example, it has access to my calendar. So if I were to say, Google Calendar, am I free at 10 a.m. today? So if I ask that question, what it will do is it'll go in and access my calendar, and it'll be able to tell me if I'm free at 10 a.m. today. Now, obviously I could quickly go and look, And there you go. It tells me I'm free at 10 a.m. today. So basically, you want to use those connectors to get it to do tasks for you. Now, the other great thing about Cowork specifically is you can also schedule it to do tasks while you're not there. So for example, I use Condo to manage my conversations inside of my LinkedIn inbox. But I also have it set up so that every 4 hours, it's basically going to look through Condo and it will draft replies to my LinkedIn conversations. I will, link a video to that at the end of this video. But basically what happens is you're able to go away and it will run scheduled tasks in the background for you. Now, the big limitation here as it comes to scheduling your tasks is your laptop has to, or whatever machine you're running Claude on, the app needs to be open, the machine needs to be on. And if you're getting it to do things in Chrome, the app that you want it to do things in needs to be open in Chrome. So it's autonomous, but it's not quite autonomous, because if you know anything about computers, you don't really want to be leaving your computer on 24/7. So that's why I've been exploring OpenClaw as well as an aside to this. So follow me if you're interested in any of this stuff for improving your business's content output. Subscribe, because I do talk about this quite a bit in my videos. But that's the main takeaway here is use Cowork when you want it to do things when you're not sitting at your laptop. One crucial point though as well about Cowork is you don't want to be having conversations in Cowork on your desktop that you want to also be able to access on your phone, because Cowork isn't right now, as of recording this video, is not available for mobile sync. So that's why your ideation and all your ideas have conversations in chat, because that does sync. When it comes to Cowork, that's where you only use Cowork when you're wanting to execute on your ideas. And finally, Claude Code. So Claude Code, let me just cut to the chase. If you're a non-techie founder, which you might be given the title of this video, you don't need to use this. Straight up. What it does allow is, if you like, I have a technical background. I like technology, so you can build some really cool things if you're wanting to build software, build apps, build interfaces. This is what's called a CLI interface, so it's a command line interface. So what this does is basically it allows you not only to control things from a Claude level, but you can actually do things on your actual machine through the terminal. But for most founders, this is too daunting, and you don't actually get that much greater output, certainly when it comes to creating content using Claude Code, because it's just too much for the task. Now, I mentioned that I get Cowork to do a lot of my execution and drafting. In this next video, I'm going to show you how to use Condo to automatically draft LinkedIn replies, so you never have to start from scratch when thinking about what to reply to people. I'll see you there. Bye.